Guys, welcome to my channel. Jonathan David here, and today I'm going to talk about compound versus simple interest. If you're new to this channel, we talk a lot about personal finance and various other mechanisms in which to help your investing career. So, do you know your financial terms? Interest, what is it? Well, interest is really, when we think about it, it is, let me define it on the board here, interest equals the money that you pay to borrow money. So this is in investing, what we talk about, really you're trying to gain interest on your money so you are able to get that money into your investing account. So when we look at compound versus simple interest, there are two different mechanisms. Simple is pretty simple, hence the name. So if we look at simple, this is defined as P times R times T, where P is equal your principal that you took out, R is equal your interest rate, and T is equal to time, usually in years, that you are taking this out. So if we do an example, we'll leave that equation up there. But let's say you took a $100 loan. Let's say you were being charged an interest rate of 10% per year, and let's assume you're holding on to this for 1 year. So by this equation, what we would have is your simple interest, so the interest that you'd be paying on this over this time period is going to equal your 100 times 10%, you can rewrite that as 0.1 times 1 year, which equals 100 times 0.1 is 10 times 1 year is $10 in that first year. If we were to go 2 years, we would just swap out this 1 year. So for 2 years, we would have 100 times 10% times 2, which is equal to $20. So as you can see, the main takeaway is the interest is only applied to the original principal of the loan. It does not include any interest that you gain on your interest. So let's expand that out to 30 years. I'm going to change this from 1 year to 30. How would we do this? So it would be 100 times 10% times 30. Do the math, it's going to be 10 from 100 times 0.1 times 30 equals $300. So if you were to take out $100 at a 10% rate and you held on to it for 30 years, you would end up paying $300 in interest, or be paid $300 in interest if you were investing in an account that paid you at 10% over 30 years. How does this compare to compound interest? Compound interest, if you recall from my earlier videos, is really what the magic is in personal finance and investing. It is what allows you to get insane growth of your money that you can then use to hopefully retire early. So if we do compound, I don't know if this is showing up. We'll maybe go to purple here. Compound. What this is defined as, it's really when your principal gains interest that in turn gains interest. So if we kind of look at what this means in terms of an equation, your compound interest, abbreviating it as CI, is equal to the equation of your P, which is your principal, times 1 plus the interest rate raised to the time period minus the original principal. A little more intricate equation than this, and you'll see why. So if we do that same example, say you have P is equal to 100, R is equal to 10%, and T is equal to 1 year. What we find is that we're going to have 100, I always like carrying my units, times 1 plus 0.1, because remember 0.1 is the same as 10%, raised to the T, which is 1, minus 100. And this equals 100 times 1.1 raised to the first, that is 110 minus 100, which equals $10 over that first year. If you recall, that's exactly the same as simple interest. Now, where things get interesting is when we change the value of T. So let's say we have T, now it's over 2 years. So if we change this to 2 here, everything else is staying the same. If we do the math, it's going to be 100 times 1.1, this is that again, squared, minus 100. And if you bust out your calculator, you'll find out your interest you're paying after 2 years is $21. Recall, simple interest was $20, so we have $1 extra that we're paying in compound interest. Now, let's compare it to 30 years. If you recall, simple interest, we had $300 total that you paid in interest after 30 years. If we change that to a 30, and you plug this in to your calculator, so we're just changing the T value, what you find is that your interest is not $300, it is actually $1,644.94. This is over 5.5 times the amount of interest that you would earn from a simple interest savings account or a simple interest arrangement. This number is why investing is so powerful. And next I'm going to show you a theoretical scenario in which we look at contribution of a single dollar in terms of a simple versus compound interest savings account, and show you the effect over 30 years, as well as what happens when you are also continually investing into your retirement accounts. So let's take a look at that. So if you may remember from my past video, we have shown that in 30 years, assuming average stock market returns of about 7% a year, including the rate of inflation was about 3%, we will be having a single dollar invested turn into roughly 7.6 times the earning power in today's dollars. That is the magic of compound interest. But I want to show you how that compares to just simple interest. And if you may, and if you look at this, what I'm going to show you is that instead of that 7.6 times, it's really going to be a factor of roughly half of that for simple interest. So if I go into my spreadsheet tool here, you'll see I have a very similar comparison where, if you remember in the past, the way this chart is set up, you have your y-axis being your purchasing power in 2020 dollars, your x-axis being the amount of time invested, and the bars are essentially, the gray bars are going to be showing you the investment returns in today's purchasing dollars. The orange bars are showing how it compares to the simple interest if we were to do that. And the blue bars are showing what you have contributed. So as you can see here, what we're assuming is that you have an initial dollar that you invest and you don't touch it for 30 years at all. You're just going to put it in there, see how it grows, see how the effects of compound interest affect it, as well as simple interest. And hopefully this persuades you the importance of putting your money in compound interest bearing accounts and not doing simple. Simple interest does have its benefits though, but that's really more in regards to debts that you owe as opposed to earnings that you can gain, right? You want to pay to the least amount of debt, but you also want to maximize your investing. So that's why we're going to be talking about the effects of it. So as you can see here on this chart, for compound interest, your interest is earning interest on itself. And simple interest is only your principal. So as you can see here, for every year at 7% interest, your dollar is earning 7 cents, right? Year 2, your dollar is earning 7 cents. Year 3, dollars earning 7 cents. And you're earning 7 cents for all 30 years. And what the effect of that is after 30 years, all those 7 cents interest returned on that single dollar will give you $3.10 of purchasing power and $2019 over 30 years. It's not bad, you're gaining 3 times the amount. However, as we can see, this is less than half of what you can achieve with compound interest. That same dollar in year 1 is earning 7 cents. By year 2, it's earning, you're gaining another 7 cents. But you got to keep in mind that interest, that 7 cents is also earning 7% interest. And that is going to slowly snowball into these greater and greater returns. So what we can see here is that after 30 years, as I talked about in my last video, you're having $7.61 from compound. Simple, we have $3.10. So we're looking at a factor of over 2 between simple interest and compound interest. And this is why, reiterating, you got to invest. You got to put your money in these compound interest bearing accounts, and you'll have your interest being able to outperform what you can put in each year due to your job and your salary. And this is why, and this is what will allow you to retire early, is when you can have your money work for you in ways that you can't do on your own. That is what we're aiming for, right, guys? I also want to talk about another scenario. So if you see on my chart here, we're assuming the effects of simple versus compound interest, but we're also putting that initial dollar in. But each year we're also putting another dollar in. So if you remember from my previous video, that initial dollar deposit plus an annual deposit of $1, we are gaining up to $102 after 30 years while only putting in $31 of principal. Simple interest is very similar. We are putting in $31 total principal, but we're only gaining roughly double that over 30 years to about $62. So as you can see, the effect, you're still coming out ahead with simple interest, but it's not keeping up with compound. And over time, it's just that gap's going to be getting bigger and bigger. So that is, my comparison between simple interest and compound interest, and why it is so important for you to see these results and see how the numbers work. It is, I think, by seeing the numbers, by seeing the impact of these different kind of way these financial kind of mechanisms work, can really guide you towards what you do with your funds. Forgive me, I have a coffee machine going on in the back. It's starting to smell pretty good here. But in this situation, where you have that investing and you're able to contribute your retirement accounts, your 401ks or your betterment or your individual taxable in these compound things, you're going to get to the point very quickly where that money is going to be really, really beneficial to you. And, so I hope this video finds you well. I hope you like it. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. My goal is to provide this insightful comments and insights for you guys and kind of show you the tips and tricks that I learned as I'm trying to get on this path to financial independence. And I hope you guys join me on this journey. I want nothing else than to have everybody that watches this channel get free from the shackles of day-to-day jobs, where you can enjoy your life, especially when you're young. So I hope you like it and hope you stay tuned. And I appreciate it. Thank you guys. And I hope this video has found you well. Thanks. Bye.